Hello, this is my book talk debut. Avid reader, never talk about it though, really like this. So I read 6 books in July, so I'm gonna go through them with you and how I rated them. So let's begin. Beginning of the month, I read The Summer Girl by Elle Kennedy. I read everything on Libby, so like I don't have them anymore, so this is literally just an Amazon link. It's whatever. So I had read Good Girl Complex 2 summers ago and then Bad Girl Reputation last year, and I loved Good Girl Complex. I hated Bad Girl Reputation, and I was nervous about this one because I was like, I liked number 1, didn't like number 2. Number 3 is like a neutral, like I think that it was better than number 2, but like I still didn't like love it. Yeah, on Goodreads, I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I said Slow Burn, Good Girl Complex was my favorite from the trilogy. This was my second favorite, so that's number 1. Okay, up next is Will They or Won't They by Ava Wilder. I have never heard anybody talk about this book before, and I got it because it was available through my library through Libby, and I was like, all right, sounds good. Like, I read the description and everything. This was like the most I'm so surprised 5-star ever. This has a little bit more spice than what I'm used to. It is so good. I had like a book hangover from this. Like I could not think of anything else for a hot minute. And that's why on my Goodreads, this is like a straight 5 stars. I didn't even write a review. I usually don't if I like it. I didn't even write a review. It was so good. Like, please read this book. So due to my book hangover, I was like, I can't read another romance book right now. I'm like, I need to live within the Will They or Won't They world for just a little bit longer. So I then rented from Libby as well, The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. And I knew this would be like a little bit of a different pace, and like I like a good thriller. I really liked how this was, how this story was written. I felt like it was very similar to Malibu Rising by, I don't remember her middle name, Taylor Jenkins, the person that wrote Daisy Jones and the Six. But I really liked it for that aspect, but like it wasn't a 5-star for me. I enjoyed it, but I didn't like love it. Like I can't think of anything else right now in my brain. So I just wrote 4 stars for this. It was an enjoyable read. It was a cozy read. I get scared pretty easily. I didn't get scared by that book, so yeah. And up next is The Perfect Marriage. This book I've heard a lot of people talk about. I actually bought it last summer, and it's been sitting in my physical TBR ever since then. I don't know if this lived up to my expectations or not, to be honest with you, because I'm a huge fan of like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and like I read that whole series and I liked it. I'm not a huge thriller reader though, so I rated this a 4 stars because it was an enjoyable read, but it moves quick, which is nice, but I feel like, I don't know, I was used to The Villa where like there was a lot of like exposition of what the heck was going on. That this, it was just kind of like, okay, she's a lawyer. Her husband murdered his mistress, allegedly. That's it. My Goodreads review was, I liked this book. It was a great beach read because the chapters are so short, which is true. Very short chapters. I appreciated that. Both his point of view and her point of view. And the storyline moves really fast, which, once again, for a beach read, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I really wrote that there's a good twist at the end. There is. Spoiler, I suppose, but, like, I'm not telling you this, the spoiler, obviously. And I said I'm not going to dwell on it. I haven't thought about this book since I put it down, so that's where 4 stars comes from. I'd even argue 3, maybe. But, yeah. Next, How to End a Love Story. This book has gotten a lot of hype recently with Reese's Book Club, so I was like, okay, cool. I bought this a few months ago. It's been sitting on my physical TBR, and I was like, this is a vacation book. I'm ready. Like, clearly from this you can tell I like a Hollywood story. This, once again, another unexpected 5 stars for me. I don't care what you say. This is a great book. This is a great freaking book. I'm pretty sure this is his author's debut book. Hello? Hello? Also, adding in here, I have a degree in film and specifically screenwriting. Reading that the author is adapting Emily Henry's books into movies. Anything she puts out, I will be reading from now on. Because we love that. We love that. Anyway, review for this on Goodreads. I knew I was going to like this book, but I didn't know I would like it this much. I had so many ads for this book on Instagram. That's true. That's why I bought it. So I picked it up on a Books A Million trip, and this was a great beach read. I'm a huge fan of both books about authors and screenwriters. I loved that this book revolved around a writer's room. Yeah. And I love the chemistry and I love the characters, and I'm excited to read more by this author and to look into her screenwriting credits. This is staying in my physical forever. I'm never giving this away. This is my favorite. Okay, my final book of the month was The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. Okay, hear me out. This is my fault here. I was on an airplane when I found this book, and it was on Libby, and I was like, it's available now, I'm just going to read it. Yeah, Libby doesn't tell you when it's the second of a series. So I'm here to say that you didn't need to read the first book to read this book, but I didn't know that, and I would have read the first one first, but whatever. This book was unexpected for me. Well, not really. I gave it a 5 stars, okay? I gave it a 5 stars because, once again, I loved, like, the Hollywood point of view and everything like that. I love the actual, like, idea of it, that she's a romance author that goes onto a reality dating show. I will say I totally guessed what was going to happen about 50% of the way through, maybe 75%, but, like, the characters are so likable that I could not DNF this. Like, it just needed to, I needed to keep reading it. This is also my first Christina Lauren book, and I will be reading more by them because I loved the way they wrote their books. I loved it. I loved their characters. I loved him. I loved her. I loved all the other characters. Like I said, without reading the first book, I knew what was going on, and, like, that's insane to me that, like, I understood the characters so well without knowing them. Yeah, I literally wrote, I loved every second of this book. My first Christina Lauren read, and I loved every second of it. I'm afraid I have nothing else to say. It was such a good read. Yeah, that's my last of July at the moment, because I've never talked about this before on my TikTok. I am at 16 of 24 books for the year. I do 24 because I usually don't have a bunch of time to read, so that's about 2 books a month. Whatever. Yeah, so if you want to know about other books I read this year, comment down below. Maybe I'll become a book talker. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Oh, and also let me know what you think of these books down below if you've read them, because I'm curious. I feel like I might have loved them, but maybe you didn't. So I want to know. Did you hate any of these books? Please don't say you hated Will They or Won't They, because I loved that one with all of my heart and I want to reread it. I tried to film this already and I'm literally laughing at myself right now, so enjoy. Hi, my name's Corey. I read 2 books in the month of September, and here's what I read, and apparently my harsh opinions on it. This was both a physical and an ebook month for me. I started off with this book right here. If you've read this book, or any of the other books in the series, you will know that the actual physical books for it are insanely giant. They're huge. Now, if I were smart, I would have started this video when I finished the book. I hated this book so much that I sold the whole series on Facebook Marketplace. So I can't show you the physical book. It's 800 pages. It's huge. It was hardcover. I couldn't get comfortable in bed, so I downloaded the ebook. So here you go. Here's the ebook of it. Honestly, this was a major 3 stars for me. It was so hard to get through. I started it in freaking May and then had to put it down a million times, mostly because I realized that I wasn't as into fantasy as I thought I was. But yeah, this book is so much slower than the other 2. I really liked the first 2. Third one was just not it for me. And then my second book of the month was also kind of fantasy, kind of not. It's The Husbands. Now, I saw Haley Pham talk about this book and I'm like, okay, I feel like this sounds really fun and really good. Here's the thing, I usually like her, and everything she says about the books, but she kind of gave away too much. So I didn't go into it with, good hopes. But I also was like, what if I feel differently about it? And honestly, I did, because she felt like this book didn't really have momentum pushing through it, because she really wanted something else to happen. I'm not going to share it like she did here, so you can look up her video for that. But she wanted something else to happen, and she wanted the main character to pursue different things. I'm over here like, actually, I like how this is written, and I really enjoyed it. I think that the last 100 pages-ish was really fast-paced, and I really enjoyed it. I think that this was straight up a character study book, and it was so much fun to read and so much fun to see how Lauren changed throughout all the husbands and everything like that. If you don't know what this book's about, see, I hated the last book so much I didn't even give you a what it's about thing. This is about the main character, Lauren, after her friend's bachelorette party. She gets back to her house and finds out that new husbands are coming out of her attic. So she's learning about different people that she's with in different lifetimes, which is so fun. And it was a really enjoyable read. It was probably 4 stars for me though. It wasn't the best thing I've ever read, but I did enjoy it. And before I go, I'm gonna give you guys a little look-see at what my October looks like. So I've been telling myself I want to read this book in October or November for so long because I'm getting ready for the movie. Sorry, I'm an Ariana Grande stan, so like that's a little forewarning for you there. This is gonna become my whole personality this month, sorry. Anyway, I found her in a little library here in Brooklyn and I was so excited. So yeah, I have Wicked coming up. I'm so excited. I'm also excited because Lemon H, which like, listen, no one ever uses that anymore. Don't ask why I have it. Don't ask. Gave me this book recommendation because there's 2 different books by this author, Caroline Dooner. I've never heard of her before, called The It Diet. There's that one. And then there's also Tired As. And I think I want to read one of those because they're basically like a self-help book, but also like based on her experience. And I kind of like that stuff. So yeah, here's the thing. I don't know which one I'm going to read first. So wish me luck. So this month went by pretty quickly. And this month I only read 1 book. Well, I'm going to give myself a little more credit. I'm like 150 pages into Wicked. On the finished list of the TBR is The Fuck It Diet by Caroline Dooner. This book was interesting. I feel like it's not for everyone, and I liked the mentality going into it as very inspiring in that way, but like other than that, like I said, I was going into it more because I wanted to understand her mentality, not necessarily what it's teaching about. And then book number 2 for the month. This is where I am right now. Here's the thing. No one ever said this was going to be an easy read, so I will say like I'm not a huge fantasy person. So for me, it takes a little bit more time for me to really get through it and understand what's going on, hence why I didn't finish it this month. So November goals, finish Wicked, and also start Such a Fun Age because I'm turning 25 this month and the main character is 25. It's that time of the month again. Happy December. I'm kidding. I'm filming this a few days before Thanksgiving just because I won't be home on December 1st. Happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. This month, I was very productive reading-wise. To begin, I made a separate video on this one, so I won't be talking about it too much, but on November 4th, I was homesick, so I read this book, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I'm sure you've heard of this book. It's all over TikTok. Honestly, it was a fun read. It was a cute little rom-com. It was what I needed to feel better on a day where I wasn't feeling very good, and I'm happy I read it. All right, second book I read this month was actually a gift. My best friend got me this for my birthday, and this is a really cute YA novel. It was so fun. It went by super quick, you know. It just kind of gave me like a little blast to the past of like high school. For example, like it's one of those ones where it's like a lot of dialogue, and I'm a huge dialogue heavy person, so it was a great read. I enjoyed it. It was about 300-ish pages. It was an easy read. I enjoyed it. I liked the characters, and I don't reread, but I would suggest it. It was fun. And then number 3, I had literally been reading since October 17th. Okay, so when I was reading this book, I had talked about how I was having a hard time getting through it because it's nothing like the musical. I had gone onto multiple Facebook groups and found out that it's nothing like the musical. I'm not wrong. I'm not confused. I'm right. People were like, this is way more dark and the musical is more uplifting and all that. So everything with this has to be taken in a grain of salt with the musical, if that makes sense. And like to the point where I didn't even know like how they got half these songs. Like I think it was a good adaptation, but I'm so confused. That being said, this book is made into like 4 different parts. I'm trying to find this specific spot for you. Like this, for example, the last 2 were really good. The first 2, I couldn't understand. Like I did not understand where they came from in general because it was so different than the musical, but the last 2 were so good. And the last one went by so quickly because it talked a lot about Dorothy and the actual like weaving the Wizard of Oz into it, just like the musical. And I was like, I love this. I also love the Wizard of Oz. So I was like, this is great. I was gonna find the page for you, but I can't seem to find it. But yeah, this was overall a good read. I didn't love it. I was never hooked on it. It was hard for me to get through. I'm happy I finished it. I'm happy I read it. I'm happy I experienced it. And this is a few days before Thanksgiving. I'm seeing the musical movie right after Thanksgiving, so I'm happy I finished this in time. The book that I'm reading currently on my iPad because travel, I don't really like bringing full books with me when I'm traveling. I'm currently reading Penelope in Retrograde. This is a rom-com that takes place during Thanksgiving. So I feel like it's the perfect book for right now. And yeah, I will keep you guys updated. I'll actually add in that back here if I do finish it. Okay, I'm gonna keep this short because I'm tired and beat. It's Black Friday. I finished Penelope in retrograde. I didn't expect to, but really, honestly, solid 4.5 star romance related to like the holiday that was here. It was a fun read. Characters were hilarious. You felt everything with the character. And I love that like the characters were so good because they were flawed, which in like a romance like this, I feel like they're never flawed. They're always just like perfect. So I really ended up enjoying it and I do recommend it. I've not thought about what I'm reading in December, but my boyfriend's mom gave me this book to read. So I might start that this weekend. I'm not sure yet. Good night and happy reading. Hello, it's the end of 2024. So let's give our final December reading recap. You'll notice I have unlocked a brand new location. This is actually my childhood bedroom. Happy holidays, everyone. Okay, so I was getting full force into the holiday reading and started with Cruel With You. Honestly, I kind of cheated and this ended my Goodreads challenge for the year. I know, this is only 72 pages. It was really good, but it's just not memorable. I'm like upset to hear that. I really like Ellie Hazelwood, so I was like, oh, this will be really good. And it was fine. I read it. That's it. Number 2, though. Number 2. Hear me out. When I have time off of work, I am always having a book in my hand. My work Secret Santa got me this in the holidays. I had never read a Christina Lauren book until this year. Where have they been my entire life? This book follows the main character who is on a Christmas vacation. She has to repeat some of the days. Like it's like the holidays being like a warp tunnel, right? To the point where she's supposed to work it out correctly for her happiness. It doesn't make any sense right now, I know. But basically, I can't tell you the ending, you know? It's really, really good. This was a 5-star read for me, guys. This ended my 2024. A 5-star read. Are you kidding me? Christina Lauren, what did you guys put in here? In all of your books? This is actually a funny side story. I can put this in here because it's December. I was going to buy my best friend books for Christmas and I ordered her this book first, The True Love Experiment, and I read it on vacation and I loved it. I had it on Kindle and now I no longer have access to it because it was through my library. And guys, notice how it's still with me now and we've already exchanged our gifts. Christina Lauren, what are you guys putting in here? Like what's going on? Anywho, to wrap out the year, to wrap up my holiday reading, I'm going to read A Jingle Bell Mingle, which I also brought from home. I always do this. I always bring only holiday reads and then I read one really good one or I get sick of it and I'm like, I have another one to read. It's December 29th. I haven't started this yet. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I'll put my Goodreads stuff on here because I read 25 out of 24 for my yearly challenge. I'll update it if I finish A Jingle Bell Mingle. But yeah, I finished my Goodreads challenge for the year and I have decided to continue these videos because I have fun doing them and I hope you guys like them.